Hey, good morning everybody. This is Sarfo-Mensah back with a brand new video for Identity Talk. And today's topic is focusing on unpacking the standards we teach students, the academic standards we teach them. Now, the reason why we're talking about this is because there are way too many instances where you have teachers who teach the lesson, they give their students an assessment, students fail, majority of them fail, and then they start to play the blame game and say, well, y'all didn't study for this test. You guys weren't paying attention when we were doing it in class, so therefore there's no fault on my part. That's all on you guys. We can't come to those conclusions if we haven't asked these following questions. Number one, have I taken the time as a facilitator to research and to build my understanding of what the standard actually means to me? Have I taken the time to figure out what students know, what they should know, and what they still need to know? And also number three, how much time did I spend actually teaching the lesson and really diagnosing what students are able to do, how far along they are in the process of mastering the concept? Have I taken the time to evaluate all those different things? These are the questions that we should ask as teachers. But before we even get into that, we have to start from square one, and that is to build our understanding of what the standard means. Because if we don't know what the standard means, then what are we teaching our students? And how can we expect our students to have a full understanding of what they should do if we ourselves don't have a full understanding of what we should do in terms of the standard? So we're going to go through an example, which is an ELA example. And I'm doing an ELA example this time because I'm always doing math, and I am a math teacher, but I have some love for ELA teachers, so I want to go ahead and just do an ELA example to show some love. But we have here the following standard, which is from the Common Core curriculum under the Reading Informational Text domain. Now, if you live in the UK, parts of Africa, or other continents, you're probably using the Cambridge curriculum, which is fine. The standards are mostly the same, and the process of unpacking the standard doesn't change regardless of what curriculum model you're using. So I just want to put that out there. So I'm going to go ahead and read this example, which states the following. Determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text, including figurative, connotative, and technical meanings. Analyze the impact of a specific word choice on meaning and tone. So you have a lot going on in this one standard. It's very loaded with language that you may or may not understand. So what do we have to do? We have to unpack all this language. We have to decipher what it all means to us and what it should mean to the children. So we're going to go ahead and do some annotating. So the first thing I'm going to do is circle the verbs, the action verbs that exist within this standard. And these are the actions that students should be performing when doing this standard. So the first verb I see is the very first word in the standard, and that's determine. They must determine the meaning of words and phrases, right? And then if you go further, you see another verb, analyze. You have to analyze the impact of a specific word choice on meaning and tone. So I have two verbs here, which I'm going to record under the actions column here. That's determine and analyze. So those are the actions that students should perform. And you can see that they're circled here. Now, the next thing is to identify the actual concepts that students should know or are going to learn in this standard. So I'm going to go ahead and use a blue marker to underline any concepts, skills that they should know. So the first concept I see are here with meaning of words and phrases, right? I also see figurative, connotative, and technical meanings. Those are three different concepts. I also see tone, also word choice. So now, when I go ahead and record those concepts under the concepts to cover section, they're going to be stated as follows. So I have here figurative, connotative, and technical meanings. But then I also see tone, word choice, and then also phrases. So you have phrases as well. So these are the main concepts that students are learning in this standard. Now, as you're looking at this, the first question you should ask yourself is this: what are the different skills that students should already know? What are those prerequisites? So this is a 7th grade standard. There may be certain concepts within this standard that they already should know from their 5th or 6th grade years. You could actually go into the Common Core website and identify those prerequisites for this standard. If you use Cambridge curriculum, you can do the same for that as well. But you want to figure out what students need to know. So the big idea here is to determine the meaning of words and phrases. So I'm looking here at the types of meanings there are. There's figurative meanings, connotative meanings, and technical meanings, right? We talk about figurative meaning, you have to think about figurative language. So that's where we talk about similes, metaphors, personification, all those different concepts within figurative language. That's something that students should probably already know when they get to the standard. So you may have to do a review on similes, metaphors, personification, and just all the other skills and concepts that fall under that umbrella. Connotative meaning. So when we talk about connotation, we're talking about the implied meaning or the perceived meaning of a word based on how it's used in context. So you have to figure out what students are able to do in this category. Are they able to figure out the connotations of different words based on its context within the text, right? And then the technical meaning is simply the actual meaning of the word removed from context in a dictionary. What's the dictionary meaning of the word? That's the technical meaning. So there are 3 different types of meanings that students need to know about a word. So here's what this means. If you are only teaching figurative language or connotative language, have you taught the full extent of the standard? Are you at a point where you can give them a test on it and they can be successful? No. That's only a fraction of what they need to know in this one standard. A fraction of what they need to know. And then once you get past the actual meanings of the words, you have to think about the tone. How does the word sound within context? What type of inflection are you using in your voice to bring out the meaning of the word. That's a skill that they have to know. Because based on the inflection of their voice and the way that they say the word, that's going to determine the actual meaning of the word and how it's used in context. And then there's word choice and phrases. When you talk about word choice, why are certain words used in this particular context? Why did the author use this particular word or adjective or noun to describe what's going on? So you have a lot of different concepts that you have to figure out, that you have to teach your students. And I think it's helpful to list them out because sometimes we feel like we've done our job as teachers. We've taught everything that we need to know about the standard, and then the students, they go into their assessment and they bomb it. And then we're scratching our head wondering why that's the case. It all starts with the preparation. It all starts with us understanding what the gaps are in our understanding and how we need to build that in order to teach our kids the right way. And it starts with this groundwork here. We have to spell out what the standard means. And this is a skill that could be used for any content area. I don't care if you're a science teacher, art teacher, a math teacher, history teacher, whatever concept you're teaching, whatever content area you specialize in, you can apply this process. It's very helpful because it allows you to see what exactly you need to teach. And if you have to do a pre-test to diagnose what students already know, at least you know what to give the pre-test on based on these concepts. If you have to do small group instruction based on these concepts, you can actually do that because you've already spelled out what those concepts are within the standard. So it opens up so many opportunities for instruction, so many options as far as how to pedagogically approach this concept. So that's the beauty of being able to spell everything out and annotate everything. It just looks so beautiful visually, don't you think? So that's my spill for today, unpacking the standard. You can't expect your students to be successful within the standard if you don't have a thorough understanding of what the standard is. That's the moral of the story. We got to put in the research and the groundwork before we even get to the classroom and teach it. If you're winging it, you're setting your students up for failure. If you're winging your lessons, put in the work. All right. So if you want to see more videos like this one, you can subscribe to my channel. It's just my full name, Kwame Sarfo-Mensah, on YouTube. And feel free to ask any questions about this lesson. You can just drop them in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to answer them as soon as you get those to me, all right? So until then, I wish you all a great day, and let's keep on inspiring our students. Peace.